Hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so very excited to have you here. It is February 1st, and you know what it means whenever I start bringing the date up. That means that it's time for our February Kindle Mystery Challenge. I'm very excited. I haven't done these in the past 2 months, I would say. I think December and January, I kind of skipped out on it. December, I don't remember what happened then. I know that last month I was doing it and it was literally just intertwining its way into a video that I was already making, so there wasn't anything new or different on it. So I figured I would go ahead and just kind of cut my losses with that one and then just try it again this month. We'll see what happens. I think that either way, I'm still going to end up posting it this month anyways, just because I want to. I want to get back in the swing of this because I enjoy doing these. I think that they're fun. And my goal has always been to go ahead and just push through it. Even if they don't have anything unique or different, it's just kind of doing small little mundane tasks, then I'm going to go ahead and just throw it on there anyways because that's what the challenge is, and I'm completing the challenge whether or not it's something big and extravagant and reading 800 pages of a book or just following an author or downloading a book on unlimited. So we'll see what this month brings us. I'm not really sure. There's only 2 days that we have to unlock things, so I'm assuming since we don't have that many tasks, there might actually be a book being read in this one. But we'll see. Who knows? So the first two I do already have unlocked again because those are the ones for January. I did go ahead and complete them all. However, I just ended up scrapping the video because there wasn't anything beneficial for you to see. You'll end up seeing it all in my winter reading books or whatever I'm going to title the video. I don't really know yet, but I basically just read winter books for a week, and all of those books ended up kind of correlating with what I was supposed to do for the challenge, so there wasn't anything different. So I figured I would just cut my losses there, and then we would try and pick it up again this month. The first one for this month says Groundhog Day. Click on it and see what we got. It says to unlock this achievement when you complete a title of your choice. Revisit your favorite genres and authors. Okay, easy enough. So I don't really have to do anything crazy, just kind of finish a book that I am either already in the middle of reading and I'm going to be reading, one of the two. I am starting on reading Valentine's books, so probably I'll end up reading one of those for it, not necessarily specifically for this challenge. I am in the middle of reading Say You Swear, I believe it is right now, and oh my gosh, I think I'm only like 30% of the book, 20 to 30% of the way through. So far, I'm literally devouring it, just eating it up. It's so good. But I don't think that I'm going to be able to get finished with that because I do have to start reading those other books today if I want to get the video out when I do want to get it out. We'll see though, I haven't really thought about it. But again, all I have to do is just read a book. I don't know if it has to be a specific book. It doesn't say like, oh, pick from these, pick from this, whatever. It's more just like, hey, read a book. So I'll probably try to figure out what I want to do with that. I'll come back to you whenever I decide, and then we will start reading that book together. So I'm back. It's currently February 12th. I have spent the last, since I updated you, reading Valentine's books. So now I'm kind of jumping back into reading other books. I didn't want to read any of the Valentine's books for this video necessarily just because they're already going to be in another video, so I'm trying not to overlap them, so that way I'm challenging myself more. I'm reading a different book for the challenge. So technically I've probably already unlocked the achievement, but I'm just going to keep it going until I finish the book that I'm reading right now, which is Say You Swear. I started this book probably the end of January, I would say, like probably the last couple days of January. Then I put it on the back burner again. I was starting to read Valentine's books. So the past few days, I have picked this one back up and started reading it again. I wanted to have it finished by today, so that way I could go ahead and start for the next challenge come tomorrow, because I think it unlocks tomorrow. However, I have not been reading this book as I have wanted to. It's definitely a lot longer than I've anticipated it, I guess. I don't know. For whatever reason, I just can't get through it as quickly as I wanted to. Maybe it's because I'm really invested in it, and so I'm like reading it slowly so I can actually savor what's going on. But I don't know. Couldn't tell you. So I'm 55% of the way through it right now. By the time I decided that I wanted to go ahead and read this book for this video, I was about 20% of the way through. So for the past couple days, I've read the next 30%. So I'm 55% of the way through. So I'm going to be finishing up this book for this specific achievement, and then I'll come back tomorrow to let you know what that new achievement is going to be, and then follow the prompt for whatever it calls for after I finish this one. We'll see. I do want to try to do these in order, and I'm trying to do them like by the book. Like I'm trying to finish this before I start the next one. However, sometimes it just doesn't really work like that because I'm starting another reading vlog video today. So I'm not going to have a ton of time to be reading this. So I'll probably, by the time I finish reading this week for the video that I've planned, I'm probably going to just go ahead and pick this back up after that. Then I'll finish filming this entire video after I finish filming the other one. That's kind of just how it has to work in order to schedule everything out the way that I want it to. And this one's kind of a throwaway video anyway, so if this one just doesn't work out, if it's not interesting enough, then I can always delete this one and not feel bad about it, I guess. But that's not the goal. We are challenging ourselves, which is why I'm challenging myself to read this book for the challenge instead of just reading one of the other ones that I've already read and just counting that towards it instead. So we'll see how I like this method. If not, if it doesn't end up working out, then I'll go ahead and just maybe stick to just kind of overlapping some stuff. But I do want to try to keep books specific for this video. I want to keep them mainly just for here. I don't want to just have every book that I read for this video be a book that I read previously, which is kind of why I deleted these videos in the past. So, Kindle Mystery Challenge. I'm going to be challenging myself to read some different stuff for these videos because that's what I want to do. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. But while we're here, I am going to go ahead and check out what that next one is. They always have a hint, so I kind of want to see what we're working with and kind of brainstorm what it could be. So the one for tomorrow, the hint is quit playing games with my heart. So that sounds like a romancy book, but it also kind of sounds like it might want me to pick with like a, I don't know, like maybe like a love triangle? Maybe like fake dating, maybe like specific like trope books. Maybe they'll have like a curated selection of books with tropes that like kind of fit that hint. I don't really know, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't really think it's going to be anything like, oh, read this specific book or read this or anything like that. I don't know. To me, that just sounds like they're going to give me a list of different romance books that have specific tropes that kind of adhere to that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But as always, if you're thinking anything different, if you have insider information or if you just are, you know, gifted in this department and you kind of have better ideas than I do, let me know. Try to guess it, right? Try to figure it out before you actually figure out what it is. But I will come back tomorrow. It'll be the next clip for you. We'll go ahead and figure out what that second achievement is going to be, and then we will finally get into finishing up this first book, and then we'll mosey on into whatever the second one calls for. All right, welcome back. It is the 13th of February right now, so that means that it's time for our second mystery challenge to come out. All right, so the next one is called Happily Ever After. And this one says, unlock this achievement when you read on Valentine's Day. Show your Kindle library some love or start something new. So that'll be easy. All I have to do is read something tomorrow. I don't have to finish a book. I don't have to start a new book or anything like that. So I guess that means at this point I will be finishing the second prompt before I finish the first one, technically. Right now I am in the middle of reading Credence, so I do have it also on my Kindle, so I will be reading on my Kindle tonight whenever I go to bed. I have them on both because normally when I go to read in bed, I have to use a headlamp, and if I can get it on my Kindle, that's so much easier for me to do. So I will physically be reading the book during the day today. I am reading this for another video, but I will go ahead and read some on my Kindle. See, Valentine's Day is tomorrow, so I'll just read this tomorrow night. I'll read some throughout the day also, and then I'll make sure to open my Kindle up so that way I can update it and make sure that it for sure clocked my reading for the day, so that way I can actually count this towards the achievement. So we'll read some of this tomorrow. That'll count for the second achievement, and then by the time I finish reading these books for this video that I've got going on right now, I'm going to hop back over and finish Say You Swear, and that'll count for the first achievement, technically. So I'll come back, I'll read a little bit of Credence, and then we will jump back in later with Say You Swear. is the next morning, and I already went ahead and finished Credence. I read a lot on my Kindle, and then I read the rest of it pretty much just on the book itself, just because I enjoyed holding this book, actually. I didn't think I was going to, but I did find it very comfortable, so I read the rest of it just on my physical copy, but I did sit outside and read a lot of it on my Kindle, as you saw. But that means that we officially finished the Happily Ever After achievement, so I got the little ribbon for that one. Very exciting. Good stuff. Not the book. This was not good stuff, but good stuff. So again, I do still have that groundhog achievement to complete. I have on my Kindle Say You Swear. I'm about 50% of the way through it as of right now. So I'm just going to finish up the rest of that book for the first achievement. I will come back probably within the next couple days. I'm still in the middle of my reading vlog and I'm finishing up the last book for that. But once I finish that up, I will come back and I will finish up Say You Swear, so that way we can go ahead and unlock both of our Kindle achievements for this video. I literally woke up and I crawled out of bed to come out here so I could finish up Say You Swear and so I could talk to you about it. I wasn't planning on saying anything, but I do have to interject a little bit here. I was reading last night, which you saw that. Got a good chunk of the way through that, and then I woke up this morning and I read a couple chapters, and I'm just, it's taken such a turn that I have not expected in the slightest, that I can't just keep going on reading it and like not talking about it right now. I just did not expect this to happen. I did not expect to be like in the situation that we are in right now, and it definitely is just absolutely so off the wall. I feel like I just expected this to be just like a love triangle romance, but this has just been so much more than that, so much more intense, and it's honestly just crazy to me. Right now, I mean, I had like a plot twist thrown in there. I was not plot twist, but like kind of like a plot halter. So like it just changed the plot, and then so many things after that kept happening, and I was like, well, oh my gosh, like now I really don't know what's gonna happen. But right now we are finally at the point where she has decided who she wants to pick, and she's sitting at their doorstep right now, and he came to the door, and I'm shocked. The way that I'm looking at it is that the author wrote that because this is going to be the person that she lets down, breaks his heart, rejects, whatever the case is. I don't know for certain, and I'm not going to tell you, because if you haven't read this, you'll get to the point, and then I don't want to be like, hey, yeah, like, you think that it's going to be this person, but it's not. So, I don't know. Just because it could be a little spoiler. I would forget if it were me, but, you know, it's probably just me that would forget. So I'm curious to see if she's actually going to reject the person that she's at the doorstep of right now, or if that's actually her pick. I would honestly be kind of shocked if it was her pick. But, I mean, it's her life, right? It's her heart, her decision. It's not my decision to make for her. Obviously it's fiction, so it doesn't really matter. So I ended up getting to page 515. I have 546 pages total. I don't know if that's including any type of author's notes, epilogues, or anything like that, but that's just what it says right now. So it says I have 27 minutes left in the book. I'm going to finish it up, and then I'll come back and give you all of my thoughts. Just finished Say You Swear, and I had so many different emotions while reading this. This was just an emotional roller coaster. I honestly saw this going one way, and then it just completely flipped around, and it just this is just so crazy to me. So this book, if you enjoyed The Summer I Turned Pretty and like the atmosphere of it and the world that they were in, then I feel like you might enjoy this, because whenever I first started it, I was like, oh, okay, like this is just gonna be like The Summer I Turned Pretty, just more of like an adult version, like more of a PG-13 instead of just a PG. I don't know, that's just the vibe that I was getting from it. There's a group of like 5 best friends. They've been best friends for pretty much ever, and their parents end up giving them a beach house. So they can go use this beach house literally whenever they want to. So the main girl character and this guy, they have some complications between their friendship, and they end up kind of getting together and then breaking it off right before they go to college. So now they're going into college where they have these like feelings for each other that they're not pursuing, and the girl's really upset. She's heartbroken. The guy's trying to play it cool and act like he doesn't care about her. Crazy. So then she meets another guy and she ends up falling for him, but she's still kind of like on the back burner into her like best friend guy that she had relations with. So then I'm like, okay, well, that's gonna be like a big love triangle between them two, and she's just gonna kind of try to figure out who to pick, where her like main best friend is kind of gonna be like Conrad in The Summer I Turned Pretty, because she's loved him forever. She has these deep like emotional feelings for him. And then the other guy, he just kind of comes in and she just develops feelings for him as she's trying to get over this other guy, which would be like Jeremiah. So I was like, okay, like this is gonna be really cool. It's just a little bit older. It's not like a YA book. So I was like, I'm really gonna enjoy this. And then it just kept progressing and kept progressing. Like it kept progressing farther and farther from like Summer I Turned Pretty story. So I was like, okay, not that that was a bad thing, but it just definitely was not what I was expecting from it. But that's okay. Not that mad about it. I will say I was definitely rooting for the like main guy, because I'm like a Conrad girl, right? Like that's just where my loyalties lie, because at the end of the day, like she had feelings for him from the beginning. It's like he was who she wanted to be with. So she kind of like strayed away and stuff. But even though he was moody and stuff like that, she still knew who he was and she still was into that. She still like cared for him. So if that's what she wants, then like, yeah, I'm going to be on board with that. I was trying to be on board with the guy that she originally fell for, because I kind of assumed that she was just into this other guy and pursuing him so that she could really just lose her feelings for the other guy. And I was like, of course, whatever you want to do. But I was like, I kind of feel like she still is into this other guy, and like they're probably gonna end up getting back together, and like that's the way it's gonna be, you know. So throughout the whole thing, while she's creating a relationship with this other guy, I was like, okay, like I'm trying not to like him that much because I want her to get back with the first guy, you know. That's where her heart ultimately lies, I feel like. So I'm still in favor of that. But, you know, things shift, things happen. I'm like, you know, now I don't even know. This other guy's being kind of a turd nugget. So I kind of want her to get with the new guy instead. I don't know. It just was like, it was crazy. And then by the time we finally had some conflict, and I was like, okay, well, maybe like she's actually going to end up with this guy. Well, then the whole story just erupts and just hits a wall. And it's just crazy. It's literally crazy. I can't even explain any of it. And I want to just sit here and talk about it so bad. I want to like spoil the whole thing for you, but I'm not going to do that. I really liked it. I thought it was very good. I did enjoy the beginning of it a little bit more than I enjoyed the ending of it. Not to say that the ending was bad, of course, but I enjoyed whenever I was getting Summer I Turned Pretty vibes. Whenever that was kind of the feel that I was in, I enjoyed that, versus whenever it kind of strayed away from that feeling, I didn't like it as much, but it was still pretty good. I did have a couple irritations with this book, I will say. The main girl character, I think her name was Adriana or something like that, she had a twin brother, and he was kind of the reason that she was unable to date the friend, essentially. I'm not gonna like blame the whole thing on him, but he was very much like protective if he came near her, or if he was giving her longing looks, or if he like touched her or whatever. He was very quick to be like, dude, what are you doing with my sister? Like, leave her alone, like cut it out. You're not gonna fall for my sister, kind of thing. And I think that the protective brother is fine, but whenever you overdo it, like the way it was overdone in this book, it kind of got on my nerves. I understand you're twins and stuff, but at some point you do have to let her be your own person. Like, she can't just be a little spitting image of you. It just doesn't work like that. Also, the twins, of course, they're siblings, but they literally reminded us that they were siblings every time that they were together. So they would call each other like little sister, big brother, sister, brother, bro. Like, it just was weird. Like, I don't need to be reminded that y'all are siblings. I know and I get like that that's what they called each other and referred to each other as, but to me it was just like a little much. Their names work fine, nicknames are fine, but like they would talk to each other for a chapter, and like they would refer to each other as little sister and big brother like 6 different times in the chapter. And it just got really repetitive in that aspect for me, so I did not like that at all. Also, I think that Noah's character, not that I didn't like him, he was a very, very sweet boy, but he was just so lovey. And this sounds so picky of me to say that, and maybe I am just picky, but I mean, it's my right to be picky. He just was too much. He was too lovey, I feel like. Just too much, like, baby, baby, baby. Like, it didn't cringe me out, but it definitely gave me slight ick. I don't know. I just don't love the super unrealistic, like, romance side of that, you know? I don't know. I really don't know how to explain it. I just feel like it was a little too much from him. But in every other aspect, he was absolutely fabulous. It was just them calling each other baby all the time. That, and he was so, like, gentle. I don't know. Maybe it's just because that's not how my relationship is very much. Like, we're very goofy and laughing, like, not bully each other, but, like, kind of. So, it just, for me, it seems very... I literally can't even figure out how to explain what I'm talking about. It's just so it's a little much. It almost feels kind of unrealistic, but obviously there are probably people out here that do that. So it's not unrealistic, but like for me and what my brain likes, it was just a little too like sweet. I guess. That's probably what I'm trying to say. I don't know. You could totally disagree with me on that. I get it. He was totally a great guy. Just something about him and the way that he was just kind of didn't care for. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It was definitely a lot spicier than I expected. I mean, given it's a sports romance book, I probably should have expected it to be more spicy. Definitely not on the same level of the dark romance books that I read, but somewhat up there. It's not as bad. Probably like 4 like spice scenes, like good ones, like hefty spice scenes. Also, let me talk about this because I don't know if I've talked about this ever or if I don't know. I just don't remember if I've said this or not. But I am not a big fan of epilogues. Never have been, probably never will be. I understand why they do them. I get like, oh yeah, I enjoyed these characters a lot. Like, I'm so immersed in the story. I want another chapter of them. Like, I'm not ready to let go of them. But to me, after you hit like the end, that's pretty much end of story. I'm pretty much done with it. I'm good. I don't need an epilogue. I don't ever want an epilogue. And diving deeper into that, I don't like when there are epilogues to add another spice scene in it. And that's kind of what this was. I'm not saying it was specifically to add another spice scene in it, but they did throw in the epilogue. Given it did wrap up some things that didn't get mentioned by the end of the story, there was some stuff that they didn't quite come full circle on, and the epilogue brought it all together, so that's fine. But to me, it just seemed like a way to just wrap everything up and then throw some more spice in there, like one last like hurrah while they're at it. So I don't care for that. I never have, and I never will. I mean, even in books that I loved, like absolutely loved to my core, will never stop talking about, will never forget, think about all the time, I don't even care for an epilogue in those books. So, according to my reading time, my Kindle stuff, it was like a 20-minute epilogue, and I was just like, that was kind of a lot. I didn't really care about what I had to say, but I will never not read an epilogue. I won't. I have to know what happens. I have to like figure out what they say, because what if I miss something? I'm not disappointed that I read them, but I'm always like let down by them. I'm never excited about it. I never come out of an epilogue like, yeah, I needed to read that. I feel better that I read it. So, did not like the epilogue in this at all. Didn't care for it. I probably would have been fine with just having it at the end and that'd be the end of it, but you know, whatever. I will say one more thing also while I'm just thinking about it. I don't know if this is part of a series or not. If it is, it doesn't matter because I'm not gonna like read any more of a series. I think that the end of the book said that she was making more books in the series, but I looked on the Kindle app and there wasn't anything that was related to it. There was like a title that was created, but there's nothing about it. There were some characters in this book and there was a storyline in this book that I didn't understand. It kind of came out of left field for me, and it felt like there might have been a book before this that kind of explained that I just didn't read. But looking into it, there's no more books in this series to read, so I don't know. But also at the end, it said something about reading Nate and Loli's point of view or something like that, which I don't even remember those characters at all. So I'm not going to read it. But it seemed like that was something that came out before this, and maybe that's something that I did need to read. I don't know. There was a pregnant character in this, and there was like a whole backstory with her pregnancy and then her boyfriend, fiance, husband, whatever. I think he ended up dying or something like that. And that was a whole plot line that I just didn't understand, didn't know where it came from, and it felt very developed already. It felt like there was information that I was supposed to know that I didn't know. So I don't know if this is part of a series, if I was supposed to know all that, because that kind of confused me and it was upsetting me that I didn't know what was going on. And if it isn't part of a series, like that's not something that was talked about beforehand in another book, it's kind of weird that I felt so out of the loop, which maybe it was just me. I don't know. But parts of this made me feel like I was reading a second book, and I didn't like that feeling, but I don't know about that. So if you are thinking about reading this one, and there is a book before this, maybe you don't have to read it before, but if you do want to understand that plot point a little bit better, then you might want to read another book first. I don't know what I'm talking about. I literally just I did not understand that. I didn't get it. It felt like I was reading a book too. I just thought that was really odd. I didn't care for that at all. As unreasonable as that might sound, that definitely did take a hit on how much I actually enjoyed the book, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But all that being said, finish this book, and that means that I should have unlocked the first achievement in the Kindle Mystery Challenge. So that one says it was the Groundhog's Day one, and we got it. So that's exciting. I actually read some different books for this, I feel like. Maybe I didn't. I don't think I really did that much. Just this one. This one is the only difference in the books that I read. But I did read Say You Swear, and then I read some of Credence for my reading on Valentine's Day. If you want to hear all of my opinions on Credence and some more dark romance books that I read by Penelope Douglas, you can check out that other video. I think it should be already posted. If not, it'll be posted soon, and you can hear all of my thoughts on that book as a whole. But that's it. That's all I got for you guys. These are the couple books that I read for this challenge. Hopefully next time I'll actually be able to specifically lay out some other books for this one, but you know what? It's just what the challenge said. I'm not gonna like disregard it because it's boring, and if the whole video itself is just super boring, then I just won't post it. While we're at it, let's go ahead and take a gander at what next month is gonna be. So this one comes out on March 4th, and this says Celebrate National Reading Month. So I don't know what that would even be. I didn't know it was National Reading Month. I didn't know that we had a reading month, but I'm assuming it's just going to be picking like maybe some popular books or something like that. Very well-known books or something. Maybe some classics. I don't know. We'll see what that has in store. But that is the sneak peek for next month's mystery challenge, and I'll see you next month for that. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm so glad to have you here today. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your week, and I hopefully will get to see you in the next one. See ya.